Welcome back, Crusaders, to another episode of Crusade with Me, the podcast where we seek truth, strive for strength, and remember that growth doesn't come from comfort. I'm your host, Dave, and today we're going to dig into a hard truth. The truth is, we might have messed up. Not out of malice, not out of neglect, but maybe out of too much love, out of too much rescue, out of too much solving and not enough standing back and letting our kids and even ourselves struggle. Well, hello, my queen.
Good morning.
Yeah,
You said that as a question. Yeah, I had to look at the clock.
I know, me too.
We are doing things different.
I know.
Today.
We really broke it up today. It's odd.
We had business to take care of.
Not the business I was wanting.
No.
But anyway, yeah, like
We started our
adulting
day,
stuff.
Yeah,
Adulting stuff.
Started our day at the wonderful BMV.
Yeah.
But
That's done.
waiting in line pays off because when you get there before they open the doors,
Right.
you get in and get out, get on with your life real quick.
And it was, and
Yeah.
and I'm not a fan of that specific branch even. They gave me the runaround when we first moved up here
Yeah.
from Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And I call them the license Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, they look for every reason not to give you a license. I'm like,
A license that you have only held for your whole life
right, like
since 16
40
minus
freaking
2
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
minus 2 years of living in a different state, and you
Right.
come back and you're like, I was only gone for a little less than 2 years.
Right.
No, I think it was almost exactly 2 years. It was. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years and 2 days you were gone, and
Yep.
then they are like, yeah, we don't know you. I'm like,
Right. I'm like,
well, dial it back, baby.
here's my Arkansas driver's license.
But in their
Here's my-
defense, a little bit, you have an alias list. I mean, I was told early on, you have a legal name, and when you sign documents, you use that legal name always. You forget
That's
your...
a suggestion.
Yeah, no. You have... You forget your
14,
legal name.
14
Yeah.
different
You
aliases,
forget
according to the title search company when we bought our house.
Yeah.
We had 14 different
Yeah.
aliases.
I have two legal names. One is my maiden name, and one is my married name. You had 15 different legal names,
Like,
and one of them is Dave. I'm like, that's just what people call you. Yeah, you. It was
you can
enlightening.
call me tater
Dear
salad.
So you did not help yourself in that scenario at all. So what do you do instead of rectifying the situation? You just went to a different BMV who catered to you.
And they didn't have one iota of a problem. Like, no, sure, yeah. I
Well,
don't say, yeah, fine.
A little bit. You did come back and get some new information and went to a different deal. So who knows what the true story is there. But I do take care of you. We went today and we had all the armed and more information than we needed. But when you get a new vehicle, you have to have
Right.
all the pertinent information, and it's our
You're right.
month. We had to renew
It
on
is
the
our
other
month.
car
It
too.
is our month.
So,
Yeah.
and we'd gotten a title to the other car and had to get that in our name too. And yeah,
That blows my mind that anyway, I'm not going to go into detail on that. But I've got to put a disclaimer on this episode. We're talking about something today about raising kids right or how we might have goofed up. And I admit, I goofed up a lot with our own children. But our children, thank God, are not like a lot of people that were raised. And I just see it only exponentially getting worse about the way parents are treating children, and then what that produces in children, I don't think they think about. And so, yeah, we cave to our kids much more than our parents cave to us, which is probably not
Never.
unusual. However, I don't want to misguide people to make them think that, our children, that's not the case at all. Matter of fact, I'm pretty proud of what you did with our children. I mean, I wasn't around very much. I was working a lot, but just a little, what I'm saying, as we get into this, and sometimes I'll say we. I don't mean we. I'm talking about generationally.
Mm-hmm.
There has been the shift, right? That's what I'm talking about in this episode. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, because I know occasionally our children listen to these, and I don't want to get the old nasty grams on text messages. Anyway.
Like the one that you sent this morning? In response to the picture,
Oh,
the video
of
your little earth angel
Right.
working.
Well, I thought she was working, and then he responded that she was actually tearing up what they had already done. She was unpacking what they'd already packed.
Yeah, that would have been my guess. I kind of put two and two together, but you threatened to turn them into child labor law services or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you thought you were, yeah.
I'll turn your ass in a minute if you're putting that baby to work, making her package your shipments. He's like, LMFA, she's unpacking what we've already done. She's not. I'm like, well, okay.
Did you hear my mom last night at dinner say she doesn't understand all these acronyms, what they mean, because her great-grandchildren, our grandchildren, are sending her texts, and they're using the acronyms, and she's like, I don't understand what these mean. Could somebody write me a cheat sheet and let me know what all these...
The problem is I think they change. They're not always the
that's
same.
That's what I told her, and I said, and sometimes I think they make them up, so...
Well, hey, it's the 21st century, right? I mean, if I can feel like I'm a dog, then why can't you make up your own freaking acronyms for text messages, right?
No.
So there's that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I went into a bank and I said, I'm transitioning and I feel like a billionaire. They just start like handing out cash.
Unfortunately, I don't think that works.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking how that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Why does that only work on shit you can't? Well, never mind. And that's a whole other episode. So we got this week. First of all, first full week back after some of the holiday, right? After so we had a full week of work and getting back to life to normal, right? But the big news of the week is that you got new ears.
I did.
Now, that was
yesterday.
just Friday.
Yeah, it was just yesterday. Yeah. Yep. And I tried out the big news for me is that my other hearing aids were 11 years old. And in the hearing aid world, that is like double the lifespan.
Right.
And so they weren't modern as far as technology. So, and so they had they improved hearing aids in 11 years.
Tyson.
So, not just with technology, but obviously now I have an app that I can control the hearing, and I can do things, fun things, really cool things. And when we were at the BMV, I got to test that out because
it worked.
And so when I was in the office yesterday with my wonderful audiologist, Denise, and we spent way more time just girl chatting about menopause and things like that than we do actually talking
She's
about
a little bit
aids.
younger than you.
But she's 51.
Okay.
It's not like
It's 6
a
years.
generation.
No.
Yeah, but anyways.
That's not what I meant.
So just even if they didn't have the technology part as far as, being able to like be in a noisy environment like the BMV, and being able to put that mode on and then be able to heighten the conversation mode, which I was able to do, just the quality.
The clarity.
Which there's a clarity button on there. It's amazing. It doesn't just make things louder. It just makes it clearer.
So your app has a BMV
no
button on it?
no, No,
mode?
but it has a mode that you would use in like a restaurant or like
Okay,
a public setting
okay.
where, because that was one of my biggest complaints
Right.
was
You couldn't use them.
when I'm in a public setting like that, it picks up all the things I don't want to hear, and I can't hear the things I do want to hear, which is like having a conversation
Sure.
with someone.
Right.
So, I take these big bag of complaints when it's time to buy new hearing aids, and that's how you kind of whittle things down. And so I was down to one hearing aid for like a year and a half. And part of the reasons why when I wasn't really missing the other hearing aid is because when it pops up on my hearing test is my left ear, I don't recognize language in that ear. I mean, the hearing test proves that. So we went
Right.
with, instead of getting 2 hearing aids, I got a transmitter for my left ear. So what that does now is it just shoots all
Whatever
of that
would have been
to-
picked up on that.
It transmits it all to the right ear. So because I'm not processing language in that ear, I'm not hearing it. So it's just, instead of having 2 hearing aids, it just takes that and it transmits it over to the right ear, which is really cool when somebody's sitting on my left side.
But
it's
you only hear
taking
them
it-
in your right
yeah.
ear.
It's shooting it over to the right ear. So it's super cool. So again, it's been a little over 24 hours now, and
All good.
I'm all
Honeymoon.
I'm still,
Honeymoon's-
it's honeymoon period, but it's all really cool, crystal clear, and still playing with it. But I literally, and you know this about me, but I cried. I mean, when I was
When you
sitting
were
there putting it on
hearing clearly.
clearly
Right.
and having clear conversations with somebody. And I mean, because literally, and I don't know if we talked about it in here, for a while when I could not hear at all with the hearing aids, you put on when we go shooting,
Right. Our Walker muffs, which are also,
have a microphone.
they have a
in them.
microphone on them. Right.
And so there's times when we would sit down for dinner and I would put these things on because that was the only way I could kind of quasi have a conversation
Correct.
with you and mom. And
Right.
so, I mean, it's been a struggle and when you cannot converse with the people you love, it becomes
Some
sad.
days, or some days, the people you tolerate. But anyway, you tolerate me some days.
Yeah. So your world gets very narrow and very depressing. So,
Well, and hey, and let's fold that right into what we're talking about today, because guess what? That is our world, and that is life. Life has struggles, right? First of all, as we, I read this some time ago. I can't remember where, so I can't give credit to where it came from. I can't remember. It wasn't an article. It was actually in a book I read several years ago. And I want to say several years ago as in like we were probably still living in Northwest Indiana at that time. All right. So I think they said up to the age of about, for a male, up to the age of about 20, you stop growing physically. From that point on, you begin a degenerative process. So you start to, you know what I'm saying? So you grow to a point physically, and then then it's not obvious,
Quick.
and it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Right.
Because honestly, at 20. It's not like you're 40, but then beyond 40, then the generation starts accelerating, okay?
Right.
So you have some diminishing, and then it starts dropping.
Sure.
So, I mean, I've heard other people say, you're born, and then from then on,
You're dying.
you're moving toward dying.
Yeah.
Which isn't wrong.
Right.
But I thought it was interesting to say, okay, you're born, you're developing and growing until a point, and then after that, you're not, and you're diminishing and you're dying. So, looking at it in that light, what are we doing with the growing and developing, and I'm talking about physically, but because we might physically start diminishing doesn't mean that we shouldn't still mentally, spiritually continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a travesty for those who do not or plateau. And that's a little bit about what the entire podcast is about, right? It's not about, it's just about being better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about this, and you remember when I talked about, I think it was a week ago, we talked about me hooking up with MC
Mm-hmm.
and talked about a little bit about my past and the career and the hard paths and
Mm-hmm.
tough stuff, right?
Right.
Well, that's not truly all that uncommon. But my concern is the how do we train this next generation? Because that's kind of my job right now, right? And what do we do? And so that's what that episode was about. And now I'm kind of taking some of those same thoughts and saying, okay, what about now we have adult children.
Mm-hmm.
They have children.
Mm-hmm.
So they're facing these questions.
Mm-hmm.
How do they raise their children to be the next leaders? And so that life isn't soft. I mean, life isn't soft, period. We love modern, and I'm the first one to say, I love air conditioning because I'm a little overweight and I sweat and I don't like to sweat. So I like air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where we're going today.
Right. Well, I think an important thing about what you just said was about how the body is, growing, and then it gets to the point where it's, starting to diminish, decline. And the thing about after that, the growing, the mentally, the everything else that we do outside of that is a choice. We don't have a choice with the physical. The physical bodies do.
You're right.
And I think that it's the laziness of not choosing to grow, either in parenting or with ourselves.
Correct. No, I think I see what you're saying there.
Right. And there's a lot of lazy parenting going on.
Yes.
And if you don't choose to parent your children to be strong children in a soft world.
Well, the world
if that makes sense.
Well, we like to do mental masturbation, or excuse me, you told me not to use that term, mental gymnastics, and talk about a soft world. The world is not soft.
Okay,
all right.
I said that backwards.
Yeah, it is.
If
the
you
world
raise
is
soft
hard.
children in a hard
Correct,
world. I said that backwards.
Well, no, I think there's a group of people out there that they believe the world is soft, and we just need to hug it out.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, if you want to go back to your kitty cat comment, you said dog, but I know you meant the kitty cat. Right. Because we have to make safe places and safe rooms.
That's where we're at.
Right.
But so I remember when our kids were little, and we didn't do this, but I've seen it. One scraped knee, we were there with the Band-Aids, right?
Mm-hmm.
One lost toy, turning the house upside down. One broken friendship, and parents are ready to call the school. You know what I'm saying? Or write a strongly worded email.
Mm-hmm.
Are they helping? They're solving problems, so they're helping, right? But are they building strength is the question. Let me ask you plainly. Are they training their kids to expect life to be easy, right? That's what we're saying. Did they accidentally teach them that someone will always come clean up the mess? And I'll tell you something. Life doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if it's too hard. And if you're not used to the storm will drown you. So here's what we got to face. Every problem we solve for someone else that they could have struggled through robs them of grit. This doesn't mean we abandon people, our children. This means we teach them how to stand. Not that we carry them so much that they forget they even have legs, right? We've all heard the old phrase tossed around, hard times create strong people. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people. And weak people create hard times. It's a vicious cycle. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're at. That's exactly where we're at. So we're watching the world get weaker while pretending it's more advanced. We gave our kids phones instead of letting them figure out directions, right? We gave them trophies just for showing up.
My favorite.
We let them skip hardship in the name of self-esteem. But real self-esteem doesn't come from being told, you're great. It comes from proving to yourself that you are. If you can't handle hard times, life will be harder than it needs to be. That's not me being dramatic. That's just truth. If you can't make peace with discomfort, you'll panic every time the road gets rough. If you think struggle means you're failing, you'll quit right before the breakthrough. And if you avoid pain your whole life, well, you're going to avoid transformation and growth. Because I want to talk about there's a discipline of discomfort. Discipline is not punishment. It's not beating yourself up. It's the sacred art of your word, choosing what's right over what's easy. That's discipline. Mm-hmm. It's the willingness to be uncomfortable on purpose so that when life brings you discomfort, you don't collapse. Want to grow spiritually? You have to discipline your mind. Want to grow physically? Have to discipline your body. Want to grow emotionally? Discipline your reactions. Discipline is the gateway to resilience. And I'll tell you something that's been a game changer for me personally. You don't get more disciplined by wanting it. You get more disciplined by doing it. One hard thing at a time. One day at a time. To your point, Kat, one uncomfortable choice at a time. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Am I?
No. Didn't you just recently tell me about a story from work? A gentleman showed up, a father, to defend his child.
Yeah, and was
berating the receptionist at the door.
Correct. Yeah, it was late in the day. Yeah, nobody was there except the receptionist, and it happened to be the plant manager was still there. And he diffused the situation. And
I mean, talk about rescuing your grown, butted child. That daddy had to show up at.
Well, I'm not making this shit up, right?
Employment.
I mean, I don't make this shit up. I'm not the stuff I'm just reading somewhere. That's a lot of what we talk about on these episodes comes from experience.
Right. So your child doesn't have to be, 9, 10 years old. They can be in their late
24.
20s.
24.
Mid-20s. And daddy's still rescuing you.
Yep.
Going to defend your honor at your place of employment.
That's not the first.
Yeah.
Generally, it's moms.
Yeah, moms
We got mothers calling a lot
to
HR. And we're terrible people.
Holding
people accountable. Like, we expect them to kind of come work when they schedule them. We're going to pay them. And I don't know. It's bizarre. That's where we're at.
That's mind-blowing.
That's where we're at.
Well, at one point in time, I did sleep with Andrew's boss.
That's true. That is true. That didn't work out so well for Andrew, but anyway.
You didn't fire him. He quit.
Well, let's get real now. All right.
Sorry. I digress.
So here's something to think about. If you're tired of life, and I just mean exhausted, tired, chances are you're not actually tired of life itself. You're tired of a version of life that doesn't light you up. You're tired of pretending. You're tired of routines that numb you. You're tired of choices, your word, that don't reflect your soul. Here's the beautiful news, folks.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the end. That's a signal. That tiredness is an invitation to change, to stop living a life on autopilot, to reconnect with what matters, to find your calling again. Not a big dramatic career shift necessarily, but a realignment. A shift in energy, focus, and mindset. Because mindset, folks, is everything. Two people can walk through the same storm. One comes out shattered. The other can come out stronger. The difference isn't the weather. The difference is the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that right here because I want everyone to understand when we raise soft kids, we are screwing with their mindsets.
Mm-hmm.
And we are setting them up for failure and a lot of hard times.
Yeah.
And here's the real truth of the matter. And I don't want this to rattle some folks, and I know it might. Knowing is not good enough.
Mm.
We live in an age of knowing. Information is everywhere. You can look up Stoicism, Scripture, Taoism, neuroscience, habits, healing, all in seconds. But here's the thing. Without action, knowing is no better than not knowing. I want to say that one more time because I think that's pretty freaking important. Without action, knowing is no better than not knowing. You can know you need boundaries, but if you don't set them, what good is that knowledge? You can know you need to stop drinking, start walking, pray more, scroll less, whatever, right? But until you do, nothing changes. To become someone different, you must do something different. To be, you must do. That's the spiritual math in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, my queen? Am I out here in left field? Is this making any sense? And I know I don't want you to think I'm going in two different areas here. I'm talking about, here's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not raise soft kids to set them up for failure, and let's help them to be, they can be strong and grow and develop and be leaders, right? Because we're going to need those.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have to do some things. We can't just know it. We got to do it.
Right. The change has to start
With us.
with us.
Yeah.
Right. No, I obviously, I've admitted this before here that, I definitely fell victim. Well, I didn't become a victim. I definitely fell in this very subject. I succumbed to rescuing our children. Unfortunately,
Well, I wasn't thinking about
didn't-
rescuing. I was thinking more about, because I recall when this happened, and I don't mean to, I'm not talking ill of my princess, but remember the conversations you and I would have about, honey, I'm standing in my kitchen. I'm looking at the high school.
Yeah.
And you're driving her ass over there? She
Yeah.
can walk.
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah, but I don't
And
think
you
that
never let her walk. You always took her.
Well, there was some.
I know. Anyway,
I
I don't know.
There is some. Anyways, I do not think that has affected her in any negative way today.
And that was my disclaimer about this episode. I'm not talking about my kids.
Yeah.
Because my kids are doing a pretty damn good job with their kids.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I do see.
And we're going to have an episode next week about specifically Abby's kids, because we're going to be talking about FAIR and 4-H and that phenomenal system.
Right. Because they're not raising soft kids. I mean, the whole
They
4-H
are not.
program.
They are not.
I think that's a
raising
very
those.
good template of how to raise hard-working kids.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think
I
you
agree.
can live that lifestyle and worry about kids not putting in the work.
Agreed.
But no, I was just making reference to that. I got a little soft sometimes. I mean, I've said this to both your faces before, and so I'm not talking behind your backs, but I lived with two schmoozers for a very long time.
I know. But then
Not
they both
Abby.
moved out and got married.
No, no. So I I felt trapped to that, and but I'm wise to it now. I don't fall for that very often. But yeah, so I see the importance to this. I see the importance to this. And I'm sure that's a hard pill to swallow when your mother and your father now say, do what I say and not what I do. Or not what I did.
Right.
But I think because
Well, we did, but we did this at a pretty limited, compared to where people are at today in this world. Okay.
Yeah, the world is different because when
It
you
is
started out by
significantly
talking
different.
about emails and phones, that stuff didn't
We
come
didn't have-
later.
they didn't- yeah, we didn't have that.
was way later.
That's why I said we weren't talking about our kids
Right,
specifically.
right.
Because,
I know, but I have to relate my experience
Sure.
because I was a mother and I did have 2 children, so that is
they
why
were
I'm
both
saying.
schmoozers, is what I heard you say.
Yeah. So
And Abby still tries to be a smoozer and schmooze me.
yeah.
She does. I know.
I'm hardened to that because I don't fall victim anymore.
There you go. Well, I'm not a victim. I'm aware of it. So, okay. So here's today's call for the day. And this is not really just for parents. All right. It's for young people. It's for everyone. Start welcoming hardship instead of cursing it. I know that sounds ignorant or that sounds counterproductive. But seriously, start welcoming hardship instead of cursing it. Number 2, start seeing tiredness as a wake-up call, not a death sentence. Number 3, start doing what you know needs done. Because it's not too late to shift. It's not too late to model this for the next generation. They don't need us to fix their problems. They need us to show them how to fight, how to fall, and how to rise.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not I don't want anybody construed. This is not a message of shame.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the Catholic Church has got the corner on that market.
Oh, my goodness.
This is a message of power. That's what I want everybody to know. Because now you know, and now you can choose to act. If you're still here, Crusader, thank you. That means your heart is open and your sword is still sharp. If this message stirred something in you, write it down. Do one hard thing today. And remember, the fight isn't to avoid struggle. The fight is to be strong enough for the struggle and still find joy in its midst. Reminding you, we've got 2 more episodes coming this week, and then we'll be looking at Fair Week. So until then, hang tight and always crusade with me.